Hey y'all, what would AcuRelease mean to you?
Eagle One, we have a confirmed sighting dead ahead.
And I'm looking forward to talking with you as well. Thank you. Hi, good morning, guys. I decided to talk to you today about the actual instructions. Whenever we buy something new, I've especially found out with the AcuWrap that you think it's your mother's grandmother wrap. You're like, oh, okay, she says it's better, and I'll read this. But because I'm not there after the demo, you kind of forget some of the finer points. So I thought I'd go through the directions with you, and I have updated them recently. I used to keep them very general on purpose because really this is licensed information and it works very well. I don't guarantee or promote any cures or disease information, but what I do notice is that when you integrate this in with your doctor, for the 10 minutes of icing, 20 minutes of heating, and then add the nightly habit routine that is really core to this. After I was able to release folks on the table and have them follow up with this, it's not that acupuncture made the difference or that the AcuWrap necessarily made the difference, but what had happened was some of the same cycles that we get into. That's exactly why it worked so much better. So why I'm going to go over this section by section is so that at least you can understand where the development we're coming from on AcuWrap. But while you're listening, I'm just going to give you a couple hints here, is try to listen where your assumptions are. It's kind of funny. We kind of go, oh, I'll just do it this way. No, this is not your grandmother's rice wrap. It doesn't just get shoved in one place. As I've said in some of the principles that you'll see, the more is not better principle definitely applies here. I have folks that, bless their heart, they hear me and they'll do it at night, but then they'll get right back up in the morning and they feel stiff and they do some more. That is okay, but what we're trying to do actually will put your healing on end, changing completely the way your body works, okay? I'm sitting next to G-Man here so you guys can remember that. This is completely different than what you've ever seen happen before. Typically when we get a lot of massage, a lot of work done, the body is, bear with me for this simple word, forced to release, okay? You're forcing something out of that arm or out of that knot or wherever that is. And then your body actually goes into, oh my gosh, recovery because of that. It's not just trying to recover the issue now, it's also trying to recover from the forcing of the area. So I'm not saying that's trauma to the area, but they are micro movements. But what I have noticed is that you're going to go ahead and get your work done, your chiropractic done, or your PT done, but then you have the recovery time. And I think that's the sorely underestimated understanding in Chinese medicine, is that there is the move, and then there's the stop and release. And so I've been asked a lot about that, and I'm going deeper into helping you understand what AcuRelease is. But that's why it's there. It is acupuncture principles that people don't really understand what's going on there. They again think more needles are better, more E-stem, the electricity in the muscle is better. Well, what you have to understand is, again, that body is a signal. There is a lot of like electrician for the body, right? And so when I was able to explain this to my sister in the beginning, I told her, I said, do you remember what your body felt like before the car wrecks, before the picking up the kids, you know, before some injuries, when you might be guarding a side or guarding pain? And, you know, most of us are going to say, no, that was like at 6 years old, 4 years old before it hit my tooth on the ground or something. And that's the truth. It's like when there's a injury or something happens, the body is mini shocks, okay? And then the body starts to protect that area, and then other things happen, and it kind of is what they call cumulative, okay? So stick with me, and I will work this video out into the why our assumptions and why we need to release those assumptions, okay? And you'll love this, all right? Thanks, and stick with me. So why is AcuWrap so different? I have told you before at the demo, this is not your grandmother's rice wrap. And you're not mad at it. I mean, it's very common that we are utilizing a rice wrap when we're pushing it in, we've had pain, we're very frustrated with the pain, and I want you guys to learn how not to do that, okay? So I think what you're going to find out with this system is it's not so much what you do as it is what you don't do. We're going to take some layers of the onion off. I want you to learn how to release the pain and to have AcuWrap as your friend, okay? So this is the end of day relax wrap. Okay, so why would we call it an AcuWrap? I noticed that as a therapist, I would ask you all to work on staying released 2 or 3 days after our treatments. But what I noticed is you do start to guard pain again. So 2 to 3 times later, you could come back in, or you could use the AcuWrap to keep that body in that release mode or the depth that I had taken you to. Now, why this changed is I noticed that you could go home, do the releasing method before nightfall, and 2 to 3 days later when you start to guard pain again, here you go, you could do it for yourself again. As I began to show you this method, though, you all came up with your concerns. And I addressed each of the concerns, but I have to tell you, the concerns were not the problem. The problem was you, AcuReleasing. So stick with me. The next video is about the concerns and then how we want to go back to the principles and always teach ourselves what AcuReleasing is all about.